$425 billion.
Wow.
That's the value of global trade in textiles and clothing. Just think about that for a second.
It's a truly massive number.
Yeah, it really is. And underpinning so much of that industry is, well, a seemingly simple fiber, cotton.
Exactly. And that's really the mission of this deep dive, isn't it? To explore the multifaceted world of cotton.
Mm-hmm.
We want to take you from, the moment it's planted right through to its incredible array of modern applications, really understand what makes this fiber so central.
To our lives, to the global economy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's our roadmap then? What are we covering on this cotton journey?
Well, we're going to look at the evolving landscape of global production, particularly that resurgence we're seeing in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
Then unravel its significance as a major international commodity.
Right. It's even caught the eye of economists, apparently.
It has. And we'll also delve into the fascinating science, breeding better cotton varieties, the cutting-edge tech in farming and harvesting.
And why the quality of the fiber itself is just so crucial.
Absolutely. And we also need to tackle the ongoing battle against contamination.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
And the innovative tech being used to combat it. From there, we'll trace cotton's path through the latest in spinning and weaving machinery, highlighting that constant push for greater efficiency and higher quality.
And the story doesn't stop with clothes, does it?
Not at all.
We'll explore the surprising and growing role of cotton in non-woven products and even in biomedical applications, which is amazing.
It really is.
And finally, we'll tie it all together by looking at the critical drive towards sustainability, recycling and some really advanced modifications. So quite a lot to unpack.
Absolutely. We have a wealth of information here, and our goal is just to distill the most important, the most intriguing aspects, give you a clear, comprehensive picture of this vital fiber.
Okay, let's dive in. Maybe start with a bit of historical context. It seems the story of cotton textiles has, in some ways, come full circle. Well, our sources point out that Asia was actually a major hub for colorful cotton textiles way before the Industrial Revolution.
Right, long before.
Then, the focus shifted to Europe, but now, with the modernization of the textile industry, manufacturing has largely returned to Asia. China's become the world's largest manufacturing economy again.
Yeah, that global rebalancing is fascinating.
So what are the key drivers behind that shift?
Well, one key factor is definitely the modernization and the scaling of textile manufacturing in Asia.
Yeah.
That allows for really cost-effective production.
Makes sense.
But it's not just China. We're seeing increasing production in places like Brazil, which is approaching 2 million tons and has significant growth potential.
Wow.
Meanwhile, established players like the U.S., India, Australia, they're grappling with their own challenges.
Like what?
Things like drought in Texas, pest and disease pressures in India, water scarcity in Australia. These factors definitely contribute to the dynamic nature of global cotton supply.
And speaking of supply, it's not just about the raw fiber itself, is it? Cotton operates as a major international commodity.
Oh, absolutely.
We even see it mentioned by Harvard economist N. Gregory Mankiw in the context of supply and demand.
Exactly. It's traded on exchanges, just like other key resources.
Right.
And as these commodity exchanges mature, money becomes the standard measure of value. Right? And prices get established based on those fundamental economic principles, supply and demand.
Okay, but price fluctuations are inevitable then.
Oh, for sure. They reflect the balance between what's available and what consumers and industries actually want. But the information about supply and demand isn't always perfectly transparent,
Okay.
which can lead to price variations and, well, opportunities for speculation.
So with all these different factors influencing production and price, a stable supply is obviously crucial.
Hugely.
And China, being such a dominant force in both manufacturing and consumption, must need to maintain predictable cotton production, right? To avoid major disruptions.
That's exactly right. They need that stability to avoid big swings in planting areas and, consequently, in the market.
And it's not just about sheer volume produced globally, is it? Quality must be equally, if not more, critical.
Oh, absolutely critical.
Yeah.
Especially for a major manufacturing hub like China. And interestingly, China is also looking outward now.
How do you mean?
Aiming to share its research, its technology, and industrial development experience with other developing nations.
Okay.
It kind of highlights how the textile industry has historically served as an important stepping stone for broader industrialization.
That's interesting. And it seems China's government is taking a more proactive approach to market regulation. announcing changes, things like quotas or reserve cotton rotations, well in advance.
Yeah, that emphasis on accuracy and timely information, it really helps smooth out price fluctuations. It contributes to greater stability, both in their domestic market and, frankly, the global cotton markets too.
And we can't overlook China's massive domestic market,
Yeah.
1.4 billion consumers, and a clear trend towards people wanting higher quality goods.
Exactly. That domestic demand acts as a really significant safety net. And it underscores China's dual identity, right? Both the world factory and a major world market.
You can see it in the numbers.
Yeah, the steady increase in retail sales of clothing and related products within China clearly reflects that strong internal consumption. Plus, government initiatives focusing on, tax and fee reductions, encouraging innovation, improving the business environment. That all provides significant support.
For domestic demand and the industry's long-term development.
Precisely.
Okay, let's dig into the cotton plant itself. What makes one plant superior to another? It seems like a plant's genetic resources play a vital role,
Absolutely fundamental.
giving breeders the tools to develop new, improved varieties with like a whole range of desirable characteristics.
Exactly. From higher yields and larger seeds to pest resistance, even how they respond to daylight. It's like unlocking the plant's hidden potential.
And this isn't entirely new, right? We've been doing this since farming began.
That's what's really remarkable. Ever since humans first started farming, we've been tapping into the natural genetic diversity of crops.
But now it's more sophisticated.
Oh, much more. Today, with all the advancements in science and tech, the focus has broadened beyond just food and shelter. It's meeting global demand for clothing and improving overall quality of life.
So preserving that genetic diversity is crucial.
Absolutely vital for the future of agriculture. It gives us resilient, productive genes that can help us adapt to environmental challenges.
And the tools for this genetic improvement are getting incredibly sophisticated. We're talking molecular markers.
Yeah, think of them as specific landmarks within the cotton plant's DNA,
Oh, okay.
and they're linked to desirable traits. By selecting plants based on these markers, breeders can improve efficiency, cut costs, and minimize the need for, extensive traditional field trials.
Like having a genetic shortcut.
Pretty much. These DNA markers let breeders pinpoint specific genes or regions in the genome associated with what we call quantitative trait loci, or QTLs.
QTLs.
Right.
And they control complex stuff.
Yeah, complex traits like fiber quality and overall yield. There are various types of DNA markers, RFLPs, SSRs, each with its own advantages for mapping and selection.
Like RFLPs.
For example, RFLP mapping has been really instrumental in linking many fiber-related QTLs to specific chromosomes and subgenomes within the cotton plant.
And it's not just about identifying these markers, right? It's using them effectively.
Exactly. Techniques like SSR analysis help us understand the molecular variation, how diverse different cotton populations are, and genome-wide maps created using SSRs have been really helpful in classifying different cotton varieties and identifying markers associated with higher fiber content.
Okay, so we're getting really specific now.
We are. And furthermore, the development of gene-based markers using candid genes and expressed sequence tags, or ESTs.
ESTs.
Yeah, they allow for even more targeted breeding.
Mhm.
EST-related microsatellites expand the pool of available markers for genetic mapping and help connect genetic info to the functional aspects of the plant's biology.
So understanding the how.
Exactly. Shedding light on the mechanisms behind fiber development. And recent research using techniques like genome-wide association studies, GWS,
Okay.
has even identified potential gene locations responsible for fiber quality traits, giving us valuable insights into the genetic basis of things like, say, longer fiber length.
So the science of breeding better cotton is clearly moving fast.
Absolutely.
But what about actually growing and harvesting it? Are there innovative technologies there too?
Oh, definitely. For instance, pre-sowing treatments using things like magnetic fields or pulsed electric fields.
Wait, electric fields?
Yeah, they can actually boost crop yields and improve how well the seeds germinate.
Huh. Who knew electricity could help cotton grow?
Right. These pre-sowing treatments, it's thought they enhance metabolic reactions and the movement of molecules within the plant cells.
Okay.
And seed priming, that's another technique. It involves soaking seeds in specific solutions before planting.
And that helps germination too.
Yeah, aimed at improving germination and ensuring seedlings develop more uniformly, especially in challenging environmental conditions.
Okay. And once the cotton's growing, precision agriculture, automated harvesting. That seems increasingly important.
Essential, really.
Mm.
Using computer vision to collect data about the field and guide automated cotton harvesting machines, it's becoming key for ensuring the quality of the harvested cotton.
But are there downsides, like damage or yield loss compared to hand harvesting?
That's a really important point. Yes, there can be some. While mechanized harvesting offers huge speed and efficiency benefits,
Uh,
it can sometimes result in a higher percentage of non-cotton plant material getting mixed in with the fiber.
the trash issue we'll get to.
Exactly. But on the other hand, intensive farming practices, like double cropping, planting two crops in the same field in a year,
Okay.
and using innovative planting techniques, have actually played a significant role in increasing overall fiber production, sometimes even more so than just relying on hybrid varieties.
So maximizing land use.
And the amount of solar energy the plants capture.
Yeah.
Water management must also be absolutely critical, especially with increasing water scarcity.
Crucial. Subsurface drip irrigation is one method being used. It minimizes water loss and delivers water directly where the plants need it most.
Tailored to the soil and climate.
Precisely. And it sounds like using drip irrigation under a layer of plastic film can be particularly effective.
How so?
Saves even more water, increases yields, and even helps the plants use nutrients more efficiently.
So multiple benefits.
Yeah, drip irrigation not only conserves precious water, but can also reduce weed growth, minimize disease spread, and even deter certain insect pests.
Leading to higher yields and better fiber quality.
Exactly. And in fields with high salt content in the soil. This method can even help reduce stress on young plants by keeping the salt concentration lower around their root zone.
Okay. Of course, dealing with weeds is a constant challenge for farmers.
Always. Often labor-intensive. Costly. And weed populations change over time due to things like irrigation, herbicide use. Are there more sustainable ways emerging?
Integrated weed management strategies are becoming increasingly crucial for sustainable cotton farming.
Like what?
Techniques like soil solarization, using black plastic mulch to heat the soil and kill weed seeds,
Interesting.
in combination with targeted herbicide application and manual weeding, can be highly effective.
But there are still challenges.
Oh yeah, ongoing challenges like the evolution of herbicide-resistant weeds, sometimes a lack of knowledge about proper herbicide use among farmers, labor shortages, and the unpredictable impacts of climate change on weeds. It's complex.
And speaking of climate, temperature plays a fundamental role, right?
Absolutely fundamental. Cotton really thrives in warm, sunny conditions. Ideal temperatures for development and flowering are generally around, say, 82 to 90 Fahrenheit. That's 28 to 32 Celsius.
But it's sensitive, too high or too low at different stages.
It can be. While warmer temperatures early and late in the season can sometimes be positive for yield, prolonged periods of very high temperatures, especially mid-growth when flowering and bulb development happens, can actually negatively impact fertilization and bulb development,
Yeah.
ultimately reducing yield and how efficiently the plant uses water.
And low temperatures.
Similarly, low temperatures early on can slow growth, and cold weather late in the season can interfere with bulb ripening and reduce overall output.
So getting all these agricultural factors just right sounds absolutely essential.
It really is.
Technologies that improve germination and yield, like those pulsed electric fields and precision ag tools, combined with smart water management, optimal plant density, temperature ranges, it all contributes.
And don't forget pesticides, insecticides, herbicides. They're still crucial in preventing significant losses.
Right. It's a complex interaction. And you mentioned even the harvesting method impacts quality.
Yes, significantly. Mechanized harvesting, while fast, can introduce more non-cotton material or trash compared to hand picking.
Which potentially lowers the grade and value.
Exactly. It's that constant trade-off between speed and purity the industry is always trying to optimize.
And that trash, or foreign matter, is a major headache down the line, isn't it? In spinning and weaving.
Oh, huge problems. These contaminants can range from bits of leaves and stems to, plastic fragments, pieces of string, even animal and human hair.
Sounds like contamination can sneak in almost anywhere.
Pretty much. From the field all the way through ginning and spinning.
And they significantly affect the quality and marketability of the final product.
Absolutely. Even a tiny amount of contamination in one bale can spread and cause substantial losses when it gets mixed with cleaner bales during manufacturing.
Where does it all come from?
It's varied. Materials used for packaging the bales, paints used for marking them, even debris from the machinery itself.
So how does the industry actually tackle this really significant problem? What detection technologies are used?
Well, various methods. Optical sensors are common. They identify contaminants based on differences in brightness and color compared to the cotton fibers.
Okay, but what about contaminants that are hidden or don't have a distinct color difference, like clear plastic?
That's where other innovative tech comes in. For example, acoustic sensors.
Acoustic, sound-based.
Yeah. They detect contaminants based on differences in density compared to cotton. Really useful for identifying colorless materials like certain plastics.
And they can see inside the cotton?
Exactly. They can see through the cotton tufts to detect contamination that isn't visible on the surface. Combining acoustic and optical sensors gives a much more comprehensive approach.
Are there other, more advanced techniques?
There are things being explored, like using spectrometer instruments, though our sources suggest they can be quite expensive and maybe less practical for the tough environment of a ginning facility.
Right.
And researchers are looking into using infrared spectral databases to identify different types of foreign matter by comparing their unique spectral fingerprints.
Machine vision methods, too.
Also gaining traction,
Mm.
especially for detecting white or other contaminants that are hard to distinguish visually.
How do they work?
They use cameras, sophisticated image processing algorithms, and high-pressure air nozzles to identify and then remove the foreign fibers from the cotton tufts,
What's the main challenge there?
often ensuring the processing speed is fast enough for real-time detection during ginning. It has to keep up.
Okay, so once the cotton gets to the textile mill, there are even more steps.
Yes, modern blowroom lines, the initial stages of spinning prep, incorporate machinery specifically designed for automatic contaminant detection and removal.
Like the Barco Vision cotton sorter mentioned.
That's one example. It uses high-speed cameras and air jets to eliminate contaminants based on even slight deviations in size and color.
And these automated systems are much better than older methods.
Oh, significant advantages. Speed, consistency, reduced reliance on human labor. They play a really crucial role in ensuring the raw cotton entering the actual spinning process is as clean as possible.
Which directly impacts final yarn quality.
Directly.
And speaking of spinning, turning those raw fibers into yarn, the machinery there has seen remarkable advancements too, right? A far cry from old spinning wheels.
Oh, indeed. While ring spinning has been a fundamental method for a long time, there's that constant drive for innovation, improving efficiency, and yarn quality.
Where are the big developments?
One area is blowroom machinery. Bale pluckers, the first machines handling the compressed cotton bales, are becoming increasingly sophisticated.
Uh-huh.
And heavy particle separators are being introduced to remove a wider range of impurities. Large clumps, fine dust, even potentially hazardous stuff like metal and skarks.
Wow. It sounds like every stage is being optimized. Carding machines, draw frames.
Exactly. Carding machines align fibers and remove more impurities.
Mhm.
Drop frames now have features like automatic pressure control, tension measuring systems, short-term auto levelers.
All to ensure that resulting sliver of fibers is consistently uniform. Why is that uniformity so important?
That uniformity is key. It provides a consistent, high-quality input for all the next spinning stages. Any inconsistencies at this point can lead to weaker or uneven yarn.
Makes sense.
Even in rotor spinning, another major technology, innovations like aerobearings and magnetic rotor positioning systems are reducing wear and tear, minimizing friction, lowering power consumption,
And better suction systems for handling fibers, too.
also contributing to greater energy efficiency in the spinning mills.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to weaving. Interlacing the warp lengthwise and weft crosswise yarns to make fabric. Lots of sophisticated tech there, too.
Absolutely. Warping machines, which prepare the warp yarns for the loom, now have features like sensors that detect even slight variations in yarn tension and identify breakages.
Why is maintaining the right tension so critical there?
Maintaining proper yarn tension during warping is absolutely critical because it directly impacts the number of yarn breakages that might occur during weaving itself.
Oh.
Factors like the pressure applied by the beam drum on the warp yarns can significantly affect how much the yarn stretches and, consequently, its likelihood of breaking.
So too much pressure means more breaks on the loom.
Exactly. More tension, more breaks.
And it's not just tension, the physical characteristics of the warp beam itself matter.
They can play a role.
Mm.
For instance, a very dense warp beam, either lots of individual warp yarns or a very long, continuous sheet of yarn, can also increase the risk of breakage during weaving.
So it's about achieving the right balance, packing density without excessive tension.
Precisely. And then there's sizing
Right, applying that protective coating to the warp yarns.
to help them withstand the stresses of weaving. The gelatinization process of the starch solutions typically used needs very careful control.
To get the desired properties and avoid issues like retrogradation. What is retrogradation and why is it a problem?
Good question. Retrogradation is basically when the starch molecules in the sizing solution start to reassociate, become less soluble over time. This can negatively impact how well the sizing sticks to the yarn, and also make it harder to remove the sizing after weaving, which affects the final fabric finish.
Got it.
And even something seemingly minor, like the amount of stretch applied to the cotton yarn during sizing, can have a lasting effect.
How so?
It can actually lead to a permanent decrease in the yarn's elongation at break. Makes it more brittle, more prone to breaking during high-speed weaving.
So keeping the stretch within a specific controlled limit is essential.
Essential for good performance on the loom.
And when it comes to the actual weaving, the picking mechanism, inserting the weft yarn across the loom, that's changed a lot from traditional shuttle looms.
Oh, completely. Unconventional shuttleless picking mechanisms, like air-jet, projectile, rapier systems, they offer significantly higher speed.
And quieter, too.
Generally much quieter than the old shuttle looms.
Yeah.
Even the beat-up mechanism, what pushes the new weft yarn into place, has seen advancements. Cam-driven systems offer much more precise control, especially these higher weaving speeds.
The let-off system, too, controlling how the warp beam unwinds.
Also plays a really critical role in maintaining consistent fabric quality. Electronically controlled let-off systems offer much finer tension control compared to older mechanical ones.
And surprisingly, even the physical position of the backrest roller during let-off can subtly influence the final color of the woven fabric. How does that happen?
It's subtle, yeah, but the backrest roller's position can slightly alter the tension on the warp yarns as the weft is inserted.
Okay.
This tiny change in tension can affect how light reflects off the fabric surface, leading to a perceived difference in color.
Wow, that highlights the incredible precision involved.
It really does.
So these advancements across warping, sizing, picking, beat-up, let-off,
Right?
they all contribute to faster, more efficient, higher quality fabric production.
Exactly. More electronic controls, sophisticated sensors, greater precision, higher automation.
It's a continuous evolution.
Driven by demand for better fabrics, produced more efficiently? Absolutely.
Okay, let's switch gears slightly. Knitting. How does cotton fiber fit into this other major fabric forming process? It's pretty different from weaving, isn't it?
Yes, quite different. But cotton is incredibly versatile, used extensively in knitting too, both weft and warp knitting techniques. The type of needles used, the specific way they interloop the yarn, that creates a wide variety of knitted structures, each with unique properties.
For example?
Well, plain knit fabrics are relatively simple, but they can easily unravel if a yarn breaks, whereas rib and interlock structures are much more stable, more resistant to unraveling.
So the specific way the yarn is looped together really impacts the fabric's performance. Durability, resistance to damage.
Definitely. Things like the length of the yarn loops and how densely the fabric is knitted also affect its breaking strength and overall structural integrity.
And in warp knitting.
Different lapping movements of the warp yarns create various fabric types. Tricot laps, for instance, have a characteristic zigzag structure due to the inclined way the loops are formed. Derivatives of tricot laps, like cord and satin laps, are created by combining multiple interconnected tricot structures, resulting in fabrics with different textures and performance characteristics.
Okay, fascinating. Now, moving beyond traditional apparel and home textiles, it's interesting to see cotton finding more applications in non-woven products.
Yes, that's a growing area.
These are fabrics made directly from fibers, skipping traditional spinning and weaving.
Exactly. And the non-woven sector represents a strong, steadily growing market for cotton.
What kinds of uses are we seeing?
Personal care products are significant. Items like nursing pads for comfort and absorbency.
Disposable and reusable options.
Both, yeah. Often relying on cotton for its natural softness and absorbency.
And it's not limited to personal care, right? Household, industrial applications, too.
Yes, indeed. You'll find cotton in non-woven wipes for a huge range of uses. Baby care, industrial cleaning, valued for their excellent liquid absorption.
Is it always pure cotton?
Sometimes cost considerations or availability might lead to blending cotton with synthetic fibers. But cotton remains a preferred choice for many wipe applications because it's effective and natural.
I've also seen mentions of cotton in carpets. How does that work?
Non-woven needle punch technology is used to make carpets for residential and commercial use. They can offer benefits like sound absorption. Cotton can also be incorporated into the backings of some carpets. And treatments are being applied to antimicrobial properties, stain resistance, to enhance functionality.
And filtration seems to be another growing area.
Increasingly important, yes. We rely on filters for so many things.
Right.
Cotton and other natural fibers are well suited for creating multi-layered, non-woven fabric filters for various applications: air, liquid filtration, medical uses.
So its inherent properties make it valuable there.
Its properties, plus ongoing advancements in fiber development and non-woven manufacturing techniques. Yes.
It's truly remarkable to see cotton branching out like this.
It is.
But with all these uses and the sheer volume involved, sustainability must be a huge consideration.
Oh, absolutely. The increasing global focus on biodegradability and overall sustainability has significantly driven interest in using cotton for nonwovens.
Because it's natural.
Exactly. Cotton's inherent ability to be recycled, reused, and biodegrade naturally makes it a key player in the move towards a more circular economy in textiles and related industries.
And research is ongoing.
Actively working on refining cotton's processability to make it economically viable for an even wider range of nonwoven applications, further solidifying its sustainable credentials.
What about direct recycling of cotton textiles themselves? Our sources touch on this.
Yes, that's crucial too. The textile industry generates substantial waste, both production waste, like scraps and flawed materials, and post-consumer waste, used garments and remnants. Recycling these materials is vital for reducing landfill waste and environmental pollution.
So how are recycled cotton fibers produced?
They're sometimes called reclaimed or regenerated fibers, produced through mechanical processes: cleaning, cutting fabric into smaller pieces, then tearing it back into individual fibers,
And these recycled fibers can then be used to create new yarns.
often blended with virgin cotton to improve their strength and processability. Yes.
And the manufacturing of melange, yarns those with the blended multi-toned look, seems like a key application.
Precisely. Melange yarns, with that characteristic blended look from mixing different colored fibers, frequently incorporate recycled cotton.
Where does the mixing happen?
It can occur at various stages of the spinning process, but while using recycled fibers offers big environmental benefits.
There are challenges.
Yeah, there can be some challenges in terms of the average length and overall quality of the recycled fibers compared to virgin cotton.
So, careful attention is needed during blending to ensure the final yarn and fabric have the desired look and feel.
Absolutely. Even something like yarn conditioning, affecting moisture content and tensile strength, can influence the appearance of fabrics made from these blended yarns. It's a delicate balance.
Trying to minimize imperfections like neps.
Exactly. Ensuring a consistent blend and minimizing issues like neps, those small knots or imperfections, especially in melange yarns with darker shades, requires careful selection and prep of the raw materials.
But despite the technical challenges,
Despite those, the increasing use of recycled cotton in melange yarns and other products is a really important step towards a more sustainable, circular textile industry.
definitely. And finally, we touched on the idea of advanced modifications of cotton. This sounds like a really exciting frontier, giving cotton new superpowers almost.
It truly is. Cotton's natural chemical structure with all those hydroxyl functional groups
Right.
allows for a wide array of chemical and physical modifications to impart entirely new, useful properties.
Enhancing its performance significantly.
In various physical, chemical, even biological applications, opening up possibilities we might not traditionally associate with cotton.
What kind of advanced physical applications are we talking about? What can you do to really change its fundamental properties?
Well, think about making cotton highly water repellent, even super hydrophobic,
How?
by applying special coatings like silicon-based polymers or incorporating nanoparticles into its structure.
And what does that enable?
Possibilities for creating self-cleaning textiles that resist stains, developing materials that can efficiently separate oil and water.
Wow.
Researchers are even exploring ways to create flexible cotton fabrics with enhanced thermal conductivity.
For what kind of uses?
Potential applications in things like heated clothing, maybe even fire warning systems.
Oh, that's quite a transformation from basic cotton. And you also mentioned biomedical applications. How is cotton being adapted for medical use in new ways?
Well, cotton's inherent properties, biocompatibility, relatively good mechanical strength, make it attractive for various biomedical uses.
Wow.
It's being actively explored for applications in wound dressings. Modifications aim to enhance properties like antimicrobial activity.
To prevent infection.
Exactly. And even the ability to deliver medications directly to the wound site.
How would that work?
For example, cotton gauze can be modified with substances like silver nanoparticles, known for their antimicrobial effects. or even to incorporate temperature and pH responsive nanoparticles that can release drugs in a controlled manner.
It's really amazing to think of cotton playing a role in such cutting-edge medical tech.
It is. And even simple things like cotton rolls are still crucial in surgery for their ability to effectively absorb blood and other fluids.
Right. Basic but essential.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And research continues into modifying cotton for even more sophisticated biomedical uses like functional dressings that can reduce the activity of harmful enzymes called proteases,
Uh-huh.
or even incorporating biomolecules for targeted therapies. The potential of modified cotton in the biomedical field is vast. It's an area of ongoing, exciting research.
So, to kind of bring our deep dive on cotton to a close, it's clear this is far more than just a simple fiber.
Absolutely.
China's dominant role, producer and consumer, underscores its global significance. Technology is fundamentally changing how cotton is bred, grown, harvested.
Constantly evolving.
Maintaining fiber quality against mechanization is a constant challenge, and it's, well, surprising to see cotton playing such crucial, evolving roles in medical textiles and advanced filtration.
Definitely areas to watch.
Plus, that growing global focus on recycling is pushing cotton towards a more sustainable future.
That's an excellent summary. It really highlights the multifaceted nature and the enduring importance of cotton in our world.
And here's something to maybe leave you thinking about. Given cotton's incredibly long and constantly evolving history, and considering all the ongoing innovations in cultivation and application, what might be the next truly unexpected role or technological breakthrough for this ancient fiber? What haven't we even imagined yet?
That's a great question. Or consider this. With the increasing global focus on sustainability and the need for more circular economic models,
Yeah.
how might the balance between naturally grown cotton and recycled or highly modified cotton shift?
Yeah.
The overall global textile landscape.
Yeah.
It really prompts you to consider that complex interplay of tradition, innovation, and global demands in the continuing story of cotton.
Absolutely. This deep dive has really only scratched the surface, hasn't it?
Just the tip of the iceberg.
So if any of these areas sparked your curiosity, whether it was the intricate world of molecular markers and breeding or the detailed processes of textile recycling, we really encourage you to delve deeper, explore further.
Yeah, there's a whole world of information out there waiting to be discovered about this truly remarkable fiber.